So hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I'll show you the game between Fritz 11 SE versus Komodo 11. So, and I let them play the board position you see here. This is a Petrov-defense, and this position arises after the moves e4, e5, knight f6, knight f3, knight f6, knight takes, and now queen e7. Probably the best move here in that position is d6, but okay, queen e7. I also faced this move in a tournament game I played. That's why, since then I know this move. And now I want to analyze this with black, because it looks, to me, it looks very solid for black, this position, but let's see what we get there. There are now, currently this bishop f5, this bishop queen battery is attacking the c4 pawn, so there are now two options. Either you go knight a3 or you go c4. In the game we have the move knight a3, defending the pawn, but not only the pawn, so now the queen can't use this square right there, so there is no queen exchange possible. Komodo 11 thinks that queen e7 back is now the best move, but let's see. Komodo 11 gives queen e7, as I said, and both engines agree that white is better in that position. So the Fritz 11, which is not so good, not such a good engine than Komodo 11, has started with a better position. So knight a3, queen e7 castles, queen e4 to e7. So this is the line Komodo gives. Now queen e7. The problem is what to do with that bishop. Probably at some point you want to go d5 and then probably bishop d3, but let's see. Now Komodo gives the move queen e6 as top, followed up with knight h4 attacking the bishop, and then bishop f5 to e4, going on to this long diagonal. If that, then this, and this comes with a discovered check, also losing not the bishop but the queen here, so this is not possible. So probably after bishop here just castles, and then I don't know, you could be, yeah, well, this knight is there. Let's say you go, no, d5. Yeah, you could go d5, bishop to e3, so let's say d5, f3, bishop all the way, knight takes, pawn takes, and queen d3, preparing bishop here maybe, and after bishop there, then you can go e3, but I'm not sure how great this is for white. There are a lot of holes. You could go knight c6, for example, but okay, knight there attacks the bishop. So, and if bishop e7, then there is a fork, so black has to give back the bishop. So let's say castles, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, and bishop e3. Okay, white stands also better in that position because of the bishop pair versus the knight pair, and the bishop pair is most of the time better. But okay, there are the king side here is pretty weak, so maybe there is something going on around here. Could also go knight h4, trying to jump in here, or to go in there to f4 or g3. So let's see. Yeah, what to do there. F4, knight there, and bishop there. This could be, no, bishop there is not possible because the rook would hang. Okay, we have this kind of moves. And let's see what Komodo is not going to e4. It's trying to go bishop g6, and after knight a3 to b5. going after this weak pawn right here. It prepares queen d7 to defend. And after queen d7 there is just castles and bishop e7. This is the continuation Komodo 11 gives, and then c4. All pretty standard stuff. c6, knight c3 and castles. c6, knight c3 and castles. Followed up with bishop f4. Wait, I make a short break and I'll be back in a second. So sorry for this short break. I'm back here, so we have bishop g6, and this is the line Komodo gave, and let's see. So here in that position we had bishop to g6, and Fritz thinks that castles followed up with knight c6 is here strong, but here I would go c4 after knight c6. Would just go c4, try and threaten d5, forking the pieces. You could also go knight b5 in this position to make a threat to c7, but okay. We have these castles, and Komodo probably going bishop e7, so tries to castle immediately. Rook e1 and queen d7, rook e1 and queen d7. The problem here is that if you go knight c6 and rook there, okay, you kind of threaten something, but for example this, but it's not such a big deal. Okay, but bishop e7, knight f3 is what Komodo gives. Bishop e7, no, bishop f3 followed up with c6, going after that pawn here. c6, and then rook e1 probably. Bishop, queen back. At some point you have to capture this bishop, but this is now my line again. Bishop f4 going after this weak pawn right here, so maybe knight c4 to increase the pressure. Knight there, knight c4 going after d6, and now just castle. Queen side going d5, but then this knight can come here. Preparing bishop g4, maybe securing the queen to the king, but the knight is also covering this g4 square. So let's see, bishop e7, rook fe1 is what Fritz also gives. Here instead of bishop f3, rook e1, queen d7, and g4. g4 is interesting here. g4 is what Fritz could maybe do. g4, I doubt it. Now Fritz also changed its mind away from g4, but it was on the radar for a short time. So d6, c3. c3 is now the move Fritz gives. And after c3 castles and knight takes bishop. H takes g6 and knight c4. What is this knight doing there? Could go d5 and you probably should know. Then knight comes here attacking the queen, so that's probably not wise to go d5 in that position. So okay, where is this knight heading to? Let's say you play normal on knight c6. Okay, d5. Knight there, knight takes, pawn takes, and c4. Or probably even a3 or b5. No, a3 I would go. To be able to play b4 and c4. But then just a4. You can still go this. Then takes. Okay, you can't because of bishop takes. And if pawn takes, then the rook in the corner is hanging. So this is not possible. So if you want to go to b5, you have to do it immediately. And after that, what to do that now? Queen b3 maybe. Takes. Still, but now this pawn is also hanging. So it's kind of interesting. Rook e1 we had. Knight takes, pawn takes. Okay, the pawn is hanging immediately, so c4 is probably the best move. But now this bishop is free to move somewhere. Probably to c5, could also move to d5. But black is not worse here. There, okay, you could go bishop e3, but then black gets rid of this piece and can maybe try and go, let's say e4 to make this a backward pawn. b4, this could be a position, but let's see what we get there. Komodo just played queen back to d7. And now g4. Still g4 is on the radar. So this is the current board position, and we maybe see the move g4 by Fritz 11, which would be just insane. What is this g4 actually doing? Let's just put it on the board. g4. Okay, you can't take because knight and bishop are there. Although, okay, bishop takes attacking the queen, so there is no time for taking the knight. Okay, you probably won't castle because this would just be terrible. You can't go there because of f3, and then where is the knight going? Okay, the knight captures this pawn then. So, knight here. But then maybe f4, trying to go f5 at some point. Also after g4, what I just recognized, after g4 and castles, I just recognized that there is this bishop to here idea attacking the queen, and only then going f4. And then you can still capture the knight and capture the bishop, the knight after. You could do this immediately actually. Knight here. No, you can't. Bishop there, queen there, and now you can grab this bishop, and after pawn takes you can grab the knight, and if d5 then you just take en passant and nothing is happening there. White is completely winning in that position. Bishop e1, probably bishop here. Even if something like this happens, then the king just goes into the corner, and there is this bishop back, and h3, everything should be solid. So let's see, if we really get g4, I'd be interested in this g4. Okay, after g4 you probably shouldn't castle. We have g4. We have g4. Komodo gives d5, d5 pawn here. Okay, d5. So now the knight here is secure, so that after bishop there and queen here, for example, there is no knight takes, pawn takes, and rook takes knight, because the pawn is covering the knight. So that's why d5 is played. So okay, let's go with d5 and g5. Knight d5, knight e4, bishop g4, queen d8, my line, and then knight takes. Yeah, this is just for the thing, but f3. Okay, the knight can go there. f3 and knight d6 followed up with bishop f4. Knight d6, bishop f4. Okay, white is probably safe here on the king side, but let's see both evaluations, because g4 was not on Komodo's radar. Still giving, now Komodo gives it as only a slight edge to white. Fritz gives it as very good for white. Okay, let's see, knight here, bishop f4. Let's continue this. Let's see, knight c6, bishop takes, queen takes, does nothing. c4. Okay, you can't, because this bishop denies you of castling queenside, I just recognized. So bishop f4. Why knight c6 actually? Bishop f4 just loses a pawn, right? No, it doesn't, because the bishop here on e7 is just pinned to the king. So let's continue. Knight c6. Let's say bishop takes, queen takes, and knight b5. Attacking the queen. Also this pawn, so the queen has to keep an eye on the pawn going all the way back. And now maybe c4. Okay, a3, knight back, pawn takes, and d5. Okay, knight can't go there or there. The knight could only go there, and this is a good move because it can jump in here. So at some point you have to eliminate this knight. So why not do it immediately? Pawn takes. And now let's say a3, knight there, and rook there. I don't see the advantage. The knight can also come in here, be pretty safe. Also castling is not that bad anymore. So I don't see why white should be that much better. And we have the move g5, knight e4, and bishop g4 probably. This is all pretty forcing what white does here. So this is the line Komodo gives. Knight d6, bishop f4, knight c6, queen d2, queen d2. Covering this pawn one more time. Queen d2, and now castles and c3. Castles and c3. Okay, this queen d2 preempts his castles because now this pawn is defended. Not sure, let's see both evaluations. Yeah, also Fritz is thinking that this is much better for white, for white, but I don't know. This g4 g5 is at least interesting. Let's see, knight e4. Okay, this position is quite nice. This bishop has no squares. All those squares are covered, so the knight can take the bishop anytime it wants. And it still has the option of going there or going back and to e3. This bishop has no options. So, but what are the plans in that position? Okay, knight here, going there, trying to go there at least. b3, defending this, and now c4. c5. c5, I doubt it. Pawn takes c5, and what to do now? So c5 is probably not on. And what is this knight even doing? Okay, you now could jump away with this knight, attacking this knight here in the corner. But do you have any useful discoveries? You could jump here, attack the queen, and after pawn takes, bishop takes knight, you could then go c5, but it's kind of, let's see, bishop, knight here, pawn takes, bishop takes knight, pawn takes here, queen takes, and let's see, knight takes, pawn takes. I would go with that pawn actually, but I'm not sure because c5, queen goes all the way back, and then this, and there is this check coming, and I'm not sure. Black seems to be not okay. Also, after this kind of stuff, you could grab this pawn, and only that then go there and there. So it's not so clear. This doesn't work. But you could maybe try and do that. But still, pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. You could go knight here attacking the queen. Queen can't defend that pawn, but if you take this as white, then that c7 will hang. Okay, but first of all, where is the queen going? It can't go. Let's cover every square where it can't go. So there are 4 squares available to the king. Those are this squares here you see in red. What is the best square of those? Let's see, probably d2 still. Also attacking the knight. So now let's say queen takes here, bishop takes c7, and now what? Rook here doesn't work because you can just take it, and after all you get back rank mated, so you can't do that. So probably this is not wise. You can keep this discovery, but first of all you should probably go c6, but then probably knight c2 going in there. You could grab it, and okay, b5 doesn't work because then the knight is a square. So let's say here you could go c5. c5 doesn't do anything, you just give him a pawn for basically nothing, but you could go queen there, preparing c5. No, you can't because rook takes bishop. Just recognize that. So, but what about, no, you can. So the safest move is probably rook e1, just defend the bishop. Also maybe prepare to bring it back, and maybe fianchettoing it to put it there on this long diagonal, h8 a1 diagonal. So this could be a plan. What is white's plan? Let's just try and triple or double. Put this back, rook here, let's exchange, and go queen there, and now rook there. And if bishop takes, then rook takes, and queen takes, and there is nothing because b4 always is nothing because it just attacks the queen. So it's not worse, this position for black. I don't see anything here for white. I know white is also not worse probably, but So in that, we're currently at that board position. Queen d8. And now there is either this move f3 or Fritz is thinking knight takes, h takes, and c4. c4 is interesting because you can't take, because then the knight would hang. So undermining. So let's go c3. Takes, takes. Here could go queen a4, maybe check. But just knight c6. But I see another plan now. Bishop f4 and knight there threatens to come in one of those squares, especially the c2 square. So let's continue. Bishop f4. But here you can still castle. And after knight b4, go queen here, takes, takes, takes. I'm not sure. For me, white is better in that position, also for both engines probably. But let's see, we have this h takes g4 now. Komodo gives it as that equal now. H takes g4. White does sorry, white does a lot of pressure here. c4 castle, c takes d5, knight takes d5. So this is the line Fritz gives. 4 and bishop takes g5, c4 and no, here c4 and bishop takes g5. But what about taking there, undermining the knight? f5, defending the knight. Bishop takes, queen takes. Another move c6, followed up with knight there, takes, 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 takes. And white should be better there, because this isolated, triple isolated pawn is much worse than this central pawn mess over there. So f5 is not the move. f5, bishop takes, queen takes, and f3. You can't move the knight. But what you can do is probably taking there. Okay, then still pawn takes, and you have this tripled pawn. And you can also go rook takes probably. So f5 is not the move here. We have c5, c4, and Komodo is probably going just castles. And after takes, maybe even takes this with the knight. And now it's not so bad, because bishop takes, and this pawn is hanging. There's not much. There's just not much for white here. But it's interesting that stuff like this is playable. Castles and queen b3 is what Komodo gives. So instead of this, what I just looked at, and we have indeed castles. Castles and queen b3, going after this pawn right there, and also increasing the pressure on that pawn. So let's say bishop takes, queen takes there, attacking the rook, knight here, and queen takes that pawn, attacking the knight, knight here, forking queen and bishop. So takes, 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 and white is a piece up. So this is not possible. Knight f6 is not possible, but you can just grab this one, and after that you could go there, and this should be now better for No one actually. Still, we just go back, and there is nothing after f3. Maybe, yeah. Then the knight just goes back to d6. So this. Let's just see who is better and why. There are 5 pawns versus 6 pawns, so there is probably white is still better there. So queen b3 is an option, but we, instead of castles, instead of queen b3, we had the move c takes d5, immediately undermining the knight. And now Komodo is quite confident with its position, trying to go knight takes g5. This was my suggestion. And after knight takes g5, knight c4. What is this knight c4 doing? Oh, he wants to go there. I see. Wants to go there. To this e5 square. But what is the damage there? Let's just continue f5. Pushing the bishop back. Can't go there. Cannot really go there because of the fork. So let's see, bishop e2. Maybe preparing bishop here to there. Going to this long diagonal. Let's see, knight here. King there. Bishop there. King takes knight. Queen g5 doesn't work because of the bishop. Queen here doesn't work also, so this is probably not on. Queen f6. So knight here. Okay, but you can also not go there because of this bishop, which is controlling this whole diagonal from its starting position. Okay, knight g5. We had c takes, knight takes, and now queen b3. Now queen b3 is played, defending that pawn, attacking b7. So let's see, rook, knight d7, knight b8, d7, rook takes e7. Rook takes e7 is the idea. Queen takes e7 and bishop takes g5. And after queen takes, you can get this knight. Oh, this, there is a pin. Okay, otherwise this would be very good. Bishop takes g5, queen. Queen takes d7. Rook takes, queen takes. Bishop takes d7. Oh, okay, queen takes, and now bishop takes here. Bishop takes there, bishop takes there, and queen g4. But then you get queen there, defending the bishop and covering the king. And after, let's say, this exchange, there is a rook versus 2 pieces endgame. That's interesting. Probably better for white. 6 versus 6 pawns. Probably also holdable for black, but okay, we have a different move here. This was an option white could have gone for, but here we have queen b3, knight there, and now queen takes b7, and I think this is very greedy now. f5, attacking the bishop is what is planned. Still playable for white. f5, bishop takes g5, bishop takes g5, and bishop f3 maybe, bishop f3, rook b8, bishop f3, rook b8, queen takes a7, and queen take, bishop take, rook takes there. Yeah, still playable for both sides, I would say. But the thing is, this opening here, the Petrov is very dull, but you don't have to go for d6 immediately. You don't have to go for something like this. knight takes and d4, or the other option grandmasters tried is this one, followed up with knight takes and pawn takes. I also analyzed at some point this move, which is also pretty interesting because there is this bishop d3. I don't know the reason for bishop d3 in that position. It's I only know this one trick. Here, for example, bishop e7, bishop d3, or even bishop bishop f5 here immediately. Yeah, it's still working. Bishop here, bishop takes, pawn takes, only for this check. But anyway, there is this idea of bishop d3 before pushing the pawn to d4 in that position. But okay, let's continue with the game. We had this continuation, queen e6, knight there, bishop g6, castles, bishop e7, rook e1, queen d7, g4, castles, no, not castles, d5, g4, knight here, bishop there, knight takes, pawn takes, c4, and now there was the move castles, and queen b3 was the move Komodo suggested. C takes d5, knight takes, queen b3, knight d7, rook takes e7 was the suggestion, but bishop takes and f5 is an option, but we had here rook b8 immediately, and now not grabbing the pawn but going there, going after this knight. It's now attacked twice, so let's go f5, attacking the bishop. Bishop here, counter-attacking this bishop, so you have to grab it, otherwise you would lose that. So bishop takes, and now bishop here. But now you can go knight there to there, maybe. This is not bad, this position. You can also grab this pawn here. And now it's 5 versus 5 again, with a lot of pieces still on the board. So black has defended himself pretty well, and this position shouldn't be so terrible. But okay, we don't have f5. After that move we had knight here, going after the d5 pawn, which is also quite logical. Going after d5, knight b5, going after that pawn, but okay, knight takes here also defends this pawn. So let's see, knight takes a7, bishop here, queen takes this, doesn't work because of bishop takes there, losing the queen. This is one of the basic chess tricks. So knight b5, maybe knight b5, f5, knight b5, bishop d6 is what Komodo thinks. And yeah, Fritz thinks it's better for white, Komodo thinks it's kind of even. Let's see, probably you don't win with this system with black, because it's not such a thing, but you can surprise your opponent, and maybe that's why you still can win. So knight a3, queen e6, this is all pretty nice. e1, bishop here, g4, d5, g5, knight here, bishop there, knight takes g6, pawn takes g6, c4, castles, c takes d5, knight takes here, queen b3, knight here, queen takes b7, rook b8, queen there, knight b6, knight b5. So bishop d6 is now the move suggested, but knight takes, queen takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Okay, this kind of doesn't work. You have to take pawn takes immediately, and after this, okay, you can't do that immediately because now you really have severe problems with the bishop. So pawn takes, c takes. Kind of have to do something with that bishop. It's not better for white. Okay, but white has the bishop pair. If white is going to do that, bishop d6, h4 is what Komodo gives. After this, there is this h4 move. h4 seems to be pretty strong because the good squares of the knight are all covered. This one, that one, everything is covered. So the knight would have to go back to h2, and this is not the best square for a knight, this h2 square, h7 square, so knight h7, followed up with bishop f3 and knight c8, bishop f3 and knight c8. Yeah, this is probably the last chance white has for an advantage. Knight takes, and I'd go for that if I were white, but we have the move king g2. Okay, we had bishop d6 and now king g2, and I doubted that. Okay, f5. Now Komodo thinks that he's better. King h2. What's the plan of king h2? f5, bishop d1, and knight e4. Bishop e1 and knight e4. Now Komodo becomes very energetic. Queen h4 with the idea of grabbing this f7 pawn. f2 pawn is maybe on the cards. But what about f3? No, not f5. What about f3 now? Still, you could probably go there, and after this you grab that. And it doesn't really matter where you go. There is this, and this would be made then after the bishop gives himself up. This is mate. And also the other option is if you go there, okay, then you still have this square to go to, but then this rook comes into play. King has to run over here, and now you can just grab one extra rook and it's game over for white. So this doesn't work. Take f3, so knight e4, f5, h4, f5, h4, f5, h4, takes, or probably even taking with the bishop attacking the queen. This is the idea, but you could go there and exchange, and there is probably nothing for black. Probably white is still better here because the better structure and one extra pawn. So I wouldn't do that. I would just move the knight. After h4, why knight there? Why not knight here? That's the question. Okay, knight here. Anyway, knight goes there. Okay, denies this one. Knight f7. And Komodo thinks it's better for black, and Fritz thinks it's equal, so it's probably better for black. This whole g4, g5, there were some ideas white had, but white hasn't played it perfectly, so there are some ideas. Also, this bishop has to move now, and then this is hanging, but if you can take it, this is the other question, because rook there. I think it's not a problem. You can just grab that pawn. Bishop takes. Yeah, queen takes, and let's see what we get now. Rook h1, queen f6 is what Fritz is giving. Queen f6 is, yeah, trying to go after that pawn, but this knight is still covering it. So queen f6. Let's see what we get. Rook h1, queen f6, bishop d2. Black grabbed a pawn. So did white a couple of moves ago. So we are still equal on pawns, but I would rather be black in that position. I would rather be black in that position. I can't say, because there is still also this pawn hanging over there at all times. But if this pawn falls, then that pawn falls. So not sure. Flank pawn for a other pawn. But okay, I think let's compare those positions. Black has 3 pawn islands, so has white. White has a bishop pair, so 1 trump for white. But white's king is exposed and black is fully developed and his king is pretty safe, so therefore black should have at least a slight edge. Probably not more, but a slight edge. Knight takes a7 and knight g5. Knight takes a7. Again a greedy move by Fritz. Grabbing those flank pawns costed him probably the game. If it's grabbing it, the other pawn as well, then it's probably done. Knight takes a7, knight g5. So let's see. Let's see. Komodo is probably not that greedy. Knight takes a7, f4. Is now what white gives. Okay, now Fritz changed its mind to a4. a4 also not on the radar of Komodo. So a4, new variation. Let's see what this does. a4, let's say a6. Knight goes back and queen captures that one. I wouldn't do that. I will grab the bishop and go with the bishop pair. So let's say there is this knight takes or pawn takes. Looks pretty interesting because now the rook can come here and then the queen is trapped. So the queen has to move. So let's see queen c3. Rook there attacking the queen. Queen keeps an eye on this pawn. Now what? Knight here does nothing because just that move. And then you could go to a4, attack this pawn, but rook here just defends. I also don't see why black should be better there, but queen c3. At some point you'd have to develop that bishop. Okay, a4, f4 we have. a4. a4, f4. Okay, preparing queen here. Check, because now the bishop's view to that is not given anymore. But also you're blocked in your own bishop, and because of one check, the king can just go to f1. I don't know, f4, bishop d2, a5, kicking this knight away. a5, knight c8, and queen c4. Queen c4. And knight g5 and bishop g4. Knight g5 and bishop g4. Okay, but now you get this phone pawn in, which is always quite nice, and this knight can go in there. I doubted that this is still playable. Did we have a move? Bishop d2. Finally Fritz develops a piece. So bishop d2. We had, instead of a5, we had bishop d2. And now queen f5. Queen f5. What is this move doing? Queen f5. Rook ac1. Knight g5 and queen c2. Knight g5 and queen c2, followed up with queen f7. Bishop g4 and knight takes d5. Knight takes d5. Rook h4. Now I will go f3 at some point. Rook f4. Rook h4, f3 check. Yeah, long term black is better in that position because the extra pawn and the phone pawn. So let's see what Fritz is coming up with. So we're currently at that board position, or we will be at that board position. Not much time for both engines. I think Komodo will, Fritz will get some extra additional time. What it is, its move, but let's see. Let's see. How things have changed, but it's interesting how to crack this a couple of moves later. If someone goes g4, queen f5, rook c1, down to 18 seconds. This Fritz immediately played the move rook c1. So now knight g5, most probably. Queen there, bishop there, knight takes, and rook there. This is probably not what we will see. But knight g5 is probably on. Okay, you don't really want to give up that bishop. Actually, why not? Knight g5. Yeah, actually, why not? If takes, how to get to the king. Okay, you have this check. Wow. Is this somehow playable? What about that? Queen f4. Okay, now I see the idea of a4. It defends the knight. And after this exchange, okay, the king is deep in the center, but it's kind of not really helping. Okay, black is still better here, of course, because with 2 pawns more. Okay, those are doubled, so it's probably only 1 pawn. But black is better in that position. Queen c2 we have. So this is the position on the board. Queen c2. Queen there. Queen f7 is what is given. Queen f7, rook h4, knight takes f3, and king takes f3, followed up with rook e8. Wow. This must be much better for black. No. Queen f6, bishop g4. So, there was a change. Queen f6 now. No, queen f7 still. And let's see. Now the last minutes of the last time control was reached. So let's see. And the position, bishop g4 was played, and now knight takes d5. Position should be clearly winning now. Knight takes g5. At some point there is this f3 thrust, so I would go f3 as white here. Yeah, we'll go f3. So that, although check, you have to give up the bishop now. But it's not a problem. Take this. And go queen there. Okay, if you don't want to exchange queen, you can always go here. But what about something like that? White won't get mated, but okay, this is the current board position. Knight takes d5, rook h4, followed up with f3 check, king g1, and bishop where? Bishop f4. Okay, bishop f4, bishop f4, bishop takes. Queen takes doesn't work because of bishop here check, winning the queen. So knight takes, threatening this check here. So what to do actually? King h1. Yeah, king h1 is a better square for that matter. King h1, knight g5, or bishop here. No, we have queen g1. This must be much better for black. It has to be, simply winning. I doubt it that Fritz can hold that together. Bishop f4. So bishop f4, bishop takes, knight takes, threatening this fork. Queen takes c7, giving up the rook. What? Check. What is that? King here, knight takes, queen takes. I don't know. Okay, now currently you're attacking the knight, but knight here attacking f7, queen here, let's say attacking the knight, rook there, threatening knight here check, winning the queen. So king g1, And now g5 attacking the rook. Rook, let's say here. Queen there. Bishop has only one square. Bishop here, pawn there. Bishop takes rook, pawn takes rook. Bishop here, queen there, check. And it's mate, next move. So yeah, I don't know why this isn't much better now for black. I don't know. I don't see it. What is white's defensive ideas? Of course this check is coming, winning the exchange. Or even better, queen f4, king h1, queen f4. Both engines agree that queen f4 is the move. So here, queen f4. What, queen f4? This can't be. Bishop here, check. Okay, knight takes, rook takes. Oh, there you can take this, take that, take that, take that. I don't know why this should be played for black. Really not sure. This is probably the line both engines are giving. Equal on material, probably even position. h4. Knight there. I doubt it. There must be something else in the position. Then queen f4. Why not taking the rook? Why not taking the rook? Queen takes knight, knight f4. Win here, rook there, king there. I don't know. Let's go back a couple of moves. So here, queen f4. Why not bishop here, check? I don't understand it. Knight takes, rook takes. Rook takes there. Threatening mate. So you have to give up the queen. Knight takes, now the rook is threatened, and black is up a rook. A knight, sorry. So this is not possible. This is not possible because after that you don't take the queen, you take on f4. Threatening h4 mate. Well, what about that? What about that? Just defending h4 and attacking the knight with check. So, whew. It's something I will investigate later. What the hell is that? Knight here, king there, queen f4. Okay, now it's too fast, so I close this now. So they play since 1 hour, and both engines agree that this is close to winning for black. Close to winning. I'm really curious about the analysis. Rook there, rook takes c8, bishop takes c8. There is an imminent discovered check, which Komodo can always use. It's interesting, this game. 4 versus 3 pawns, so it's probably equal on material, but with that king and that knight over there, rook here attacking the knight. Knight there and knight to d2 check. King there, only square. Rook f1 and how to defend the f pawn actually. Also bishop and queen, and now okay. But after that check, yeah, you have perpetual check, but oh, that move. Knight here check. At some point this pawn is gone. Next move, the pawn is gone. Rook takes knight. Wow. Okay, this is something I do not understand. Okay, now the pawn is gone here, but yeah, it's interesting because now there are two connected passes on the queen side. One passer on the queen side because knight takes a4 attacking that pawn. So 2 versus 2, but rook versus bishop, rook and knight versus bishop and knight, and this doubled pawn. It's, I don't know if it's enough to win, but 3, 4, 7. It's too much for table base. Here, if black can get rid of this bishop, then it's probably winning. But this bishop will probably move. King f8, knight c8 now. King e2, attacking the rook. Also, if the bishop is 2 squares away from the knight, the bishop is covering all the squares of the knight. Now the knight is threatened. Knight c6. Rook there, knight is threatened again. It's interesting to watch. Not sure if Komodo can win that. b4, king d6. Knight d5, b5. So 2 versus 2 pawns, rook and knight versus bishop and knight. g5, finally pushing a pawn. Okay, it was under attack. Bishop there. Rook here, attacking the pawn. f6, now the pawn is defended. f3, rook f4, attacking the knight. King here, knight there, check. Here, so knight for knight. Knight for knight. Knight takes c2. King takes c2. Okay, now black is also very active and white is on the back. Bishop d2, rook f7. Still not sure if this is winning for black, but let's see. Rook check, king has to go on the back rank. Now it's probably winning. Yeah, okay, now attacking the bishop, king back, rook b1, and now how to defend the pawn. Bishop a4, rook b4, and it's over because now black is losing that pawn. First putting the king on d2 away from the f pawn. Now one pawn is gone. Rook versus bishop, check. King on the back rank, rook f2, bishop c6 most probably, bishop d7. Okay, now it's over. Yeah, now it's definitely over. Fritz resigned, but it was an interesting game. It was pretty tough, actually. was pretty tough, this whole stuff. I would be very scared if I had to face that. It's okay. Finally, it loaded this thing. So let's open one of the stockfish. Because I want to check it with stockfish. Okay, this was all given to them, and now they move queen d6. Knight h4, bishop g6, cancels. Where was the first slip up? Yeah, this g4, and now it's immediately equal. So the stockfish are probably even slightly better for now. It's even. d5. d5 knight there. Bishop there. Takes. This was a mistake, yeah, according to stockfish. This was also not great. But let's see. Yeah, here was the first part. Knight f7 was better. Knight d5, okay, knight f7, bishop there. Queen takes h4. There things changed. a4 was again a big mistake. f4. Bishop d2, queen there. Rook c1, and now knight g5. Rook there, queen f7. So okay, this was a mistake. You should have probably gone to this square immediately. But okay, you kind of wanna grab that pawn f3. Bishop takes, knight takes, bishop, rook takes, knight here check. King there, and now queen f4. Rook there. Why not just go bishop d3? This was my question. Bishop d3 check. Knight takes e6, yeah. Rook takes. Knight takes c7. Rook takes pawn. Rook takes rook. King here. Takes. Yeah, this is the line which is given. Knight takes and knight here. Why not taking this? For example, knight takes b5, pawn takes b5, rook takes. Yeah, it's over in any case, but the thing is, why take the pawn? Thing is, why not take the rook? Rook takes, rook there, okay. Yeah, the thing is, if you take the knight, then this knight pawn battery is making the black king, because covering all the pawns. So there only has to be one check. Queen, rook f4. If king there, and rook there mate. So it's over. There is nothing to be done here. Yeah, there is just nothing to be done. The simple plan here is either rook there or rook there, and then going to one of those squares. Okay, this is the reason why there is no bishop d3 check. It's changing everything. So rook c2, rook there, knight there, queen takes c4. But the thing is, again, here, why not? Okay, rook c2, rook there, another knight went in there. So why not this check again? Rook takes e6. Rook takes rook. Rook takes queen. Rook takes rook. Queen takes. Knight takes. Okay, now it's a knight up. Okay, that's why. So queen d4. Queen here. Queen takes. Rook takes. Knight here check. This is the next thing. Rook here. if you take this, then the thing is, you just push. There is nothing to hold this pawn away from queening. You could go back with the rook, but now rook e1 check comes with devastating effect, and this is all desperation, because now it's a mate finally. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.